The holographic message materialized in the center of the United Earth Defense Council's war room, casting ethereal blue light across the faces of humanity's military leaders. Ambassador Zixtal of the hegemony stood 12 feet tall even in projection, his crystalline exoskeleton gleaming with authority that had subjugated 100 worlds. Primitive humans, the alien's voice resonated through universal translators, each word dripping with condescension. The Galactic Council has deliberated for exactly 4.7 standard rotations regarding your species' continued existence. Your expansion beyond your birth system violates Galactic Code 7 Alpha 9. No pre-spaceflight civilization shall exceed single-system boundaries. General Sarah Chen leaned back in her chair, a slight smirk playing at the corner of her mouth. Around the table, humanity's finest military minds maintained poker faces that would have made professional gamblers weep with envy. Furthermore, Zixtal continued, oblivious to the growing amusement in the room, your species displays alarming tendencies toward violence, unpredictability, and what our xenobiologists term catastrophic problem-solving methodologies. The Council hereby orders immediate cessation of all extrasolar activities and voluntary relocation to designated reservation worlds. You have 1 rotation to comply. The transmission ended with a dramatic flourish that suggested the hegemony had been practicing their ultimatums. Admiral Rodriguez was the first to break the silence. Did they just order us to reservations? Like we're some kind of dangerous wildlife, muttered General Okafor, his Nigerian accent thick with suppressed laughter. Chen stood and walked to the massive window overlooking Geneva. Below, hovercars zipped between towering arcologies, while orbital elevators stretched like silver threads toward the stars. In the distance, the construction yards of Luna were visible to the naked eye, humanity's newest dreadnoughts taking shape in the cold vacuum of space. "Execute Protocol Omega," she said quietly. The phrase rippled through the room like an electric shock. Protocol Omega wasn't just a military directive. It was humanity's ultimate contingency plan, developed in secret over 2 decades of first contact scenarios. Every human colony, every military installation, every research facility had been waiting for this moment. Within minutes, the quantum communication network buzzed with activity. On Kepler 442b, Colonel Martinez smiled as she authorized the activation of gravitational mining charges that would turn the system's asteroid belt into a weapon. The Mars Defense Grid powered up its experimental plasma cannons, each one capable of melting a small moon. In the outer colonies, fusion reactors that had been disguised as terraforming equipment revealed their true purpose as fortress world power sources. But the real surprise waited in Sol's outer system. Dr. Yuki Tanaka floated in the command center of Research Station Heimdall, humanity's most classified project hidden in the Kuiper Belt. For 15 years, she and her team had been reverse engineering, alien technology acquired from various first contact incidents. The hegemony assumed humans were too primitive to understand their tech. They were catastrophically wrong. "Yuki!" Chen's voice crackled through the quantum link. "It's time to show our guests what human hospitality looks like." 3 days later, the hegemony's 12th subjugation fleet arrived at the edge of the Sol system. 200 vessels strong. Their formation was perfect, their weapons charged, their commanders confident. They had performed this dance 100 times before with 100 different species. Fleet Commander Vorth studied the tactical display with satisfaction. The humans had made no attempt to flee. Their pathetic fleet of 73 vessels waited in loose formation around their homeworld like prey animals frozen by the sight of predators. "Begin standard intimidation protocol," Vorth ordered. "Broadcast surrender demands on all frequencies." The human response was immediate and unexpected. Instead of panicked pleas for mercy, every single human ship simultaneously broadcast the same thing. The ancient Earth sound file of human laughter. The sound echoed across space, not bitter or defiant, but genuine amusement, as if the entire human fleet had just heard the galaxy's funniest joke. "Sir," his tactical officer stammered, "the humans are laughing at us?" Before Vorth could respond, space around his fleet began to shimmer. Massive structures decloaked throughout the Sol system. Not ships, but installations that defied everything the hegemony thought they knew about human technology. Weapon platforms emerged from what had appeared to be empty space, their designs clearly based on hegemony tech, but somehow improved, refined, made deadlier. "Impossible," Vorth whispered. "They're pre-space flight. They still use chemical rockets, and—" The first human salvo arrived before he could finish the sentence. Plasma beams of impossible intensity carved through hegemony shields like they were tissue paper. Kinetic projectiles moving at significant fractions of light speed turned proud battlecruisers into expanding clouds of superheated gas. But the humans weren't content with superior firepower. As hegemony ships attempted to retreat, they found their hyperdrives disabled by some kind of interdiction field. Worse, their own weapons began turning against them as human cyber warfare. Programs infiltrated their systems using their own communication protocols. Admiral Chen's voice filled the comm channels, speaking in perfectly fluent hegemonic standard. "Fleet Commander Vorth, this is Admiral Sarah Chen of the Terran Defense Force. Your surrender is accepted. Any vessel attempting to leave this system will be destroyed. Any vessel refusing to surrender will be destroyed. Any vessel looking at us funny will be destroyed. We'll be boarding shortly to discuss your species' future in this galaxy." In the aftermath, as human marines secured hegemony vessels with practiced efficiency, the truth became clear. Humanity hadn't just reverse-engineered alien technology, they'd perfected it. Every primitive human colony had been a fortress in disguise. Every trade mission had been an intelligence-gathering operation. Every diplomatic meeting had been an opportunity to study their would-be conquerors. The Galactic Council's emergency session 3 weeks later was a masterpiece of controlled panic. Species that had bullied and conquered for millennia suddenly found themselves facing a foe that had been studying them for decades while pretending to be helpless. Ambassador Zixtal's final transmission to Earth was markedly different in tone from his first. "The Galactic Council extends its deepest apologies for any misunderstanding regarding humanity's status. We would be honored to discuss full membership." The response from Earth was brief and delivered by President Maria Santos herself. "We'll consider it. In the meantime, we'll be conducting our own expansion program. We suggest you update your star charts accordingly." The age of human dominance in the galaxy began not with conquest, but with the sound of laughter echoing across the void. The last thing 100 previous victims had heard, and the first thing their former oppressors would never forget.